We are going to start with textual formulas, and these formulas are used to manipulate text in a very specific way. You can use a single or more than one formula in combination to achieve a certain goal when you are trying to manipulate text. Right. For example, if you have a name where the last name comes first and the first name comes last, you can use a combination of a few of these formulas in order to um, so for example, if you have a name where first and last name are in reverse order, you can basically get them in correct order using certain formulas from this list. So we will talk about how to use these formulas as a combination to achieve specific goals in assignments and projects, and some of the guided projects as well. But the purpose of this video is to ensure that you understand that there are textual formulas, and I'm going to basically cover all of these formulas which are most used. So I'll start with character and code. So at the back end on every computer, there is an assigned number to any character on your keyboard, right? In so if you want to know what is the number assigned to your character or a character, you can use char formula. So for example, if you want to know character, let's say 37. Okay, so if you want to know what character has been assigned to number 37, so it is the percentage symbol, right? The exact opposite of char is code. So you can get the code of any text. So let's say A is 65. Now, a small reminder that capital A and small a are considered different in terms of numbering system at the back end. So capital A is 65 and small a is 97. Clean removes all non-printable characters from text. Generally, non-printable characters are something that you cannot visualize. They are there, right? For example, character for number 7 is invisible, right? How do we know that there is a character indeed? So I can do a length formula which will give me the length of this cell, which is 1, right? For example, this cell is 0 because there's nothing here, and this cell has a certain value which is character 7, right? So let me concat this character with a particular um, textual string, and you would see something like this, right? What clean does is it cleans or it removes any non-printable characters from whatever text you will give. So let's use clean and take this data and enter, right? How do we know whether it worked or not? So I can again use length formula to get the length of this, and I can use the same formula to get the length of D6 cell, right? So looking exactly similar, however the length are different. So that means there is a special character which is uh, beside the string data that actually is not visible, but it is there, right? Why do we use it? Because if you are working on some data and you are using VLOOKUP, or you are trying to do some sort of calculation which requires taking the length of this string, it is generally recommended that you remove any non-printable characters, because that might affect your calculation, or that might affect the formulas or the output of the formulas. Trim, on the other hand, takes any text and removes any leading and trailing spaces. Okay, so for example, if I do 2 spaces and then let's say data and then again 2 spaces, right? And let's say Shastri and then 1 space, right? You would see something like this. And if I do a trim of this, it will basically give me the same name without the extra spaces from before and after, right? Let's say what will happen. Let's see what will happen if I have 2 spaces in between characters. So you would see that it will actually remove it. So it keeps single spaces between characters and remove any spaces from the initial and the last part of the string. Concat. So what does concat mean? Concat means to attach or to join 2 strings, right? So if you have multiple strings that you want to combine, you can use concat. Okay, so for example, if I say data and then Shastri, it will combine them. Now remember, it has not given any space, so there are multiple ways that you can include a space in between these two words. So either put a space right after data, it will work, or you can put a space before Shastri, it will also work, right? Or just for simplicity and for readability, you can include a space like this. right? So this concat can take any number of inputs in terms of text, and it will join them as is, right? So right now I have 3 inputs, data, space, and Shastri, and it is giving me data Shastri as one concatenated string. Exact. Okay, so exact checks whether two strings are exactly similar or not, and it is case sensitive. So that means a letter or a word which has a small case letter versus the same word with some or one or more capital letters are not same, right? So for example, if I say data and then I take a data again with smaller letters, it will say false because these are not exactly same. So I had to put capital D in order to make sure that this will return true. So exact checks if the two text values are exactly same. And this is also something that you can use to check whether there are non-printable characters in the data, right? It will help you to judge whether the text that you're seeing is exactly matches the source and the target, right? For example, if you're using VLOOKUP and you are getting unexpected results, you can choose to use exact formula in order to see whether what you're trying to look up in a table matches what you're trying to look up as a value. Find finds any text within another text, right? So let's take an example. So I have, let's say, P that I want to find in Apple. So why does it return 2? Because it checks on what position or index is P in the word Apple, right? What will happen if I do AP? So I have two letters and I want to search that in the word Apple, right? So it will work exactly as it worked with a single character. So you can take any length of string and you can find that exactly in any other string, right? Okay, now left is used to extract a specific number of characters from the left side of the string, right? So for example, I will use left, which will take two inputs. One is text and then the number of characters. So let's say I have data and I have Shastri, right? And I want to take the first 4 characters from this string. I can do that easily, right? And of course, if I have, I can use reference also. So if I paste it here, it will work exactly as it should with the input of the actual string within the formula, right? So write works exactly in the same way. So let me take this one and put it here, and I say write. I choose this reference and I say I want to extract 7 letters from the right. It will give me Shastri. On the other hand, mid takes any string, let's say again data Shastri, okay, and I want to extract something from the middle, right? So let's take a use case. So I want to extract TA from data Shastri, which is the third and the fourth letter. So my starting position will be third, and how many number of characters I want? I want 2 characters. So it will work like this, right? So it goes into this string, it goes to the third position, which is DATT, and it extracts exactly 2 characters from that position, right? What will happen if I say I want to start from let's say 12 and I want 2 characters from there. It is giving me just a single character. Why? What happened here? So it goes to 12 character, which is I itself, okay? And since there are no characters on the right hand side, it just gives me I and nothing else, right? So there are some features built in into all of these formula that will avoid any basic errors that you might see. Okay, lower basically converts any string to lowercase, and upper converts any string to uppercase. Very simple. Proper, on the other hand, takes any string and it converts the first letter of each word into capital. So let's say I have data Shastri. It will convert it into proper case letter. So when we say proper, it basically capitalizes the first letter of each word, which is used when you have uh, unclean data and you want to make it standard across. REPT or repetition basically takes any text that you want to repeat a certain number of times. So for example, if I take pound symbol and I want to repeat it 10 times, I can do that easily, right? Why would you use that? If you don't want to type a single character multiple times, you can use that. But there are other use cases that we will see during the assignments and during the guided projects. So substitute formula is used to substitute any specific string or a substring within a string and replace it with something else, right? So for example, I have A, B, C, D, okay, and I want to replace A with, let's say, Z, okay. It will basically substitute A with letter Z, right? What will happen if I have multiple A's? It will replace all of them, right? And I have another input parameter, which is instance number. So let's say if I give 2 here, it will only work on that particular instance, right? So without the fourth input, I will replace all of the instances that are present with instance number. I can dictate Excel that I only want a particular instance to be substituted. Otherwise, everything else remains as it is, right? Replace is sort of similar to substitute, but there is a subtle difference, and the difference is that in substitute you give a specific substring that needs to be replaced or substituted. In replace function, you give a certain position that needs to be replaced with something, right? So let's say ABCD, okay, starting number. So I want to start from a certain position, let's say 2, and I want to take one number of characters and I want to replace it with Z. Right now, if I say I want to start from second character, let's increase the size as well. So if I want to start from second character and I want to take 3 characters, okay, and replace all of them with Z, it will work exactly as expected. So text formula is a versatile formula that takes a number or a numeric value and converts that into a certain string in a certain format. Okay, so one of the most used examples of it is to convert a date into text. So let's take an example. So I'll put in a date here, which is today's date, and I'll use text function and I'll pick this value, which is the date. Now, so I want to basically convert this date, which is of numeric nature, and convert that into a specific format, right? So let's say I will start with double quotes and I want to convert this date into the format DD right? So I can do it like this. Okay, and there you go. So it converted this date into this specific format that I was looking for. Now I can change this to 2M instead of just 3M, and it will give me that specific format again, right? So if I change this to a single D, it will give me a single date, a single numeric date in the format. Or I can choose a different function. Let's say I have 1000.101 and I want to convert that into 00.0, right? It will work, right? So what this specific format tells me that I can have a number here, and after decimal I just need one single number, right? What will happen if I have, instead of 1000, I have only 1, right? So it gave me 2 digits even before decimal, right? That's the power of custom formatting of strings. The same formatting we can actually achieve using control 1 from the custom format. If you look at this, all of these are numeric formats, right? So text basically is a formula to achieve the custom formatting using control 1. And that's it for the text.